Oh, it's rolling. Morgan, this is going to be real short. I think I said something about this in another video. I was just thinking about this, and if I didn't say anything specifically about it, I just wanted to say it. And I've had a lot to apologize for, and I don't know if you'll ever watch these videos. I hope, if nothing else, that if worst comes to worst and you never talk to me in person and never see me again before I leave this earth, I hope you'll at least watch these videos and maybe get an idea of what I've been thinking and feeling. I know you may get bored with them because I probably get redundant and say a lot of the same things more than once, And I feel bad, at times, because I feel like I should have spent more time talking to you about positive stuff and about like good memories and everything. But I guess it's just that every time I start to try to record something, I just get so sad. I haven't been hurting so much. I don't know that you really care, but Miss Morgan, I know I messed up with you, but what really hurts is that you don't realize what I went through. I know you don't want to hear it, and I don't want you to think, and I haven't talked a lot about it in other videos because I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to blame anybody for my mistakes with you. But if you really knew me well, and if you really had clear memories of me, I think you would remember that I loved you very much, and I tried to show that to you. I know I messed up a lot of times when things got tough. I didn't know how to handle what was going on with your mom. I was not prepared mentally or emotionally for all of that. I grew up, and I'm getting away from what I wanted to say, but I grew up in a home that was not touched by divorce, and a home where the idea was constantly there that family sticks together and that family loves one another and forgives one another. And my parents had their differences and their arguments, and they could have their little spats, but at the end of the day, they always loved one another, and they always came back to forgiveness. And here I was, none of that worked with your mom, the years that I was with her. I had never been in a relationship before, and the first one I get into is with somebody who was already broken from her baggage. In a relationship that quickly became emotionally violent and verbally abusive and verbally violent and physically violent. And I didn't know how to handle it, and all I could do, I grew up thinking I was not good enough. I grew up feeling like girls weren't interested in me. I grew up feeling like I wasn't good enough. I grew up feeling like I was boring. And I know it was misperception. A lot of it was my own self-esteem and all, but I felt like people didn't find me interesting, that I wasn't good enough. And very, very quickly, when your mom started getting upset with me for things that I just expressing an opinion that might be a little different than hers, or just expressing reservations about something, and she would get so angry with me, and it was just, I felt like, everything was my fault. And I had never seen a woman, or a young woman or female, be violent the way that she was violent in her words and in her actions, and it just wore me down over the years, and I couldn't give up, and I didn't want to leave because I couldn't leave you guys, because I knew with the way that the legal system is, especially in Texas and damn conservative states like this, that they don't listen to dads. And who's going to take a man seriously when he says that a woman is doing the kinds of things that I was dealing with? And I didn't want to fail because nobody else had failed in my family. So I just decided I had to stick with it. And I didn't know how to deal with it, Morgan. I didn't know how. And it just wore me down over the years to the point that I just couldn't. I mean, I don't know if you remember any of the arguments that went on between your mom and myself, but you wouldn't remember the earliest ones, but it was always, she would just get so angry with me, and I felt like, you see, I was raised with this idea that was ingrained in me by my dad. Don't let the sun go down on your anger. And then I was so afraid of rejection, so if your mom was really upset, I just pursued it. I wanted, because I had to make peace somehow, whatever I had to do to make peace. And her personality was so against that. Like, I could tell you a story about how something that happened. I'm not going to now, but her dad even told me personally, and he asked me to take a ride with him, and he told me that she has a bad temper and she could be very unreasonable, and that you just have to be patient with her. But I tried that, I thought, but I couldn't do it for long. I couldn't stand the thought of her being upset with me, and I was afraid she was going to leave me or reject me or something. And so I kept on trying to make the peace, but the more I talked, the angrier she would get, no matter what I said. And so, I would go to the point of just putting myself down and calling myself dirt, calling myself a worm, calling myself totally worthless, and then that wouldn't work. So then I would end up leaving and going to my office up at Howard Payne, or going and driving just to get away, or maybe hoping that if I got away she would think I wasn't going to come back, and hoping she'd ask me to come back. And that, of course, never happened. And so that just contributed, it just fed to it. She never asked me, please come back. Maybe once she did. Maybe once in all of that she did. But I was starving for love, and starving for acceptance, and starving to be wanted in a permanent way. And I got into this pattern of, like, the only time that she was happy was if I was pleasing her in one way or another, whether it was physically pleasing her or buying her something. And so I'd go, and I didn't have money, and I would spend things on her and get her gifts. Those diamond earrings that I think she ended up giving you. I made a trip to Abilene an hour and a half drive because she got pissed off at me and bought those things with money that was supposed to go towards buying a CD, a certificate of deposit, not buying one, but investing in one. So those things that came about out of an argument. And this was the pattern that we lived in. And it tore me down. And I'm not trying to make you feel sorry for me. I'm just trying to explain that I wasn't myself, Morgan. I wasn't myself. The times that I was closest to being myself was when I was with you guys and we were, hanging out together, playing games, not just video games. We did video games, but we played like the Uno and that Uno farm thing. All these games we played, and going bowling, going to the movies, going places together, and hanging out. And I loved playing with you guys and being silly with you guys. And I know that when you would get angry and things would happen and you would lose your temper, it just provoked me. And that's not your fault, Morgan. That's not your fault. But I had lived through this hell for 9 years. And whenever you would lose your cool or you would kind of go into a tantrum, and you did go into tantrums, but I'm not blaming you for that. I didn't know how to deal with it, and it would trigger me. It would trigger me because of all this stuff that had gone on with your mom. And I didn't know how to respond. I needed help. But I was ashamed. And I felt like I was just a failure. And now I feel the same way because you won't give me a chance. You won't even give me a chance to talk to me. What happened with you was not your fault. But it also had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with you. And that's... I just need you to know that. Now, what I was gonna talk about was, I tried to say in some other videos that I've done in the past that I know I placed expectations on you because I was so proud of you, and you see, I had thought that I was such a failure and I was very let down with myself, and I saw you and I was sort of living through you. Because you were more popular than I was, and you were more outgoing than I was, and I wanted you to live your full potential. I wanted you to be amazing. And you were amazing. But I wanted everybody else to see how amazing you were. And I wanted you to push yourself to be the best that you could be. Because I knew you were so special. And so I know I was too hard on you sometimes. Instead of just letting you be you. Another thing that was sort of that was that I wanted a connection with you because I wanted a connection with all my children, and I thought I had it with Ashlyn and then Joshua when he came along, although I didn't get to spend enough time with him. because only 6 years, And then of that time, it was just half the time I didn't get to see him every week. But you, from the time you were little and the first time that you saw Fellowship of the Ring, and you were fascinated by it and drawn into it, and the things that we played together, you and I, before your siblings came along, you were very special to me, and I wanted a connection to you. I wanted to share with you. And I feel really bad because at the time that I pushed you to read the Sword of Shannara and to do a report on it. Because I wanted you to, it was a long book, 700 pages, and I wanted you to earn all those points and everything. I wanted you to stand out. But also, Morgan, it was just because that book had meant a lot to me. I had really enjoyed it when I read it. Between it and Lord of the Rings, it got me interested in writing, and I wanted to share something with you. I wanted to have something in common that maybe we could talk about. And it was selfish of me. But that's what it was, Morgan. It wasn't me trying to make you do something. But I pushed you too hard. My God, Morgan, please talk to me. Please talk to me. Please talk to me. You have no idea how bad I'm hurting. You have no idea what I went through. You have no idea what I've been through, Morgan. And I know you've been through a lot. I'm sorry what I put you through. And you have so many times I've just felt like I don't deserve to live and that I'm a waste. I had so many plans and dreams before I met your mom of things I wanted to do. Not just for me. It wasn't that I wanted to be a writer so I could be famous and be wealthy. I wanted to do something for the people around me. I wanted to do something for the world and have a positive impact. I wanted people to admire me. True. But I wanted to help people in some way or to inspire people. And I have felt like I've just fucked up my life. And I have almost no one. I know I am so sorry for the ways I let you down. But, Morgan, I'm not who you think I am. I know the things that you've told Ashton, I know. And those things do not reflect me. The things that your mom has said do not reflect me at all. If anything, some of the things that she has said, and Ashton picked up on this right away. Ashton told me this before I even mentioned it or thought of it. She said, Mom is projecting. I know she's projecting because the things she's saying, she's describing herself, not you. Your mom was never afraid of me. I never manipulated your mom. She manipulated me constantly. I tried to make her happy. But that was never going to happen, Morgan, because from the start she was not honest with herself or honest with me. She was never going to be happy with me. I was the wrong gender. I didn't have the interest that she did in sports, but my God, Morgan, I tried to support her. I tried to support her. In fact, I wanted her to teach me sports, and she wouldn't do it. She got bored with me very quickly. Then one time we went to a park, and I was like, and she didn't have patience with me. But God forbid I asked her to read something I had written to get her feedback on it. She wouldn't do it. She never read a goddamn page of anything I wrote. Not one. And I would go to her games. I would go and support her and cheer her on. I would support her in her desire to become a teacher. She wanted to get certified, but her grades were very poor. I tried to tutor her. She failed basic math class at Howard Payne. She wasn't going to be able to graduate. She never did pass it. We had to threaten the university, and it was wrong. I did unethical things to support your mom because I loved her. But I spent hundreds of dollars on books to prepare for the exit test. I taught preparation for the exit at Howard Payne to our English majors who were going to getting into the exit. Well, and then they were taking the exit after not to get into the education program, but the exit. I said that wrong. It wasn't the exit test. I got confused. I taught the exit for education majors who were specializing in English. Your mom didn't even get into the education program because her grades were too low. But I bought a bunch of books to help her, to try to tutor her, and she did not. She lost interest. And then later, she was going to try to get certified through an alternative route. And again, I bought books. She did not pay attention. That's why she's never gotten certified to this day. She may be teaching PE, but she's not a full-fledged teacher with a teaching certificate because she never did finish that. She was going to teach English, which she couldn't have done, to be honest. She didn't have the knowledge to teach English. I mean, most of the classes she took, she made C's in them. My classes, I'll let her slide by with a C. But I was supporting her. I supported her. I tried to help her. I went above and beyond to help her. I put my own reputation on the line. I burned bridges to try to help her. But she wasn't grateful for it. And then she turned around and threw everything back on me. You know, and I felt like such a failure. I know I'm rambling on about stuff I didn't intend to talk about. There's so much you do not know, Morgan, and I am just exhausted. I'm so totally exhausted. I just need somebody, you, Joshua, to give me a chance, because, the world knows the kind of person I am. The people I've worked with, the people I've interacted with, the people I've helped, because yes, I have helped people. not just my family. I'm talking about people outside my family and outside my immediate friends who I've known a long time. People know that I'm a person of integrity. People know that I care passionately about things. I care passionately about people and equality and people being treated right. I'm very passionate about striving for what's right in this world. Right now I feel like it's useless because we are just on the precipice of hell right now. If it were not for Ashlyn, I would freaking just want to die. Because I can do things. Maybe I can even finish my book that I'm working on. But if I don't have family that cares, then I don't know why it's even worth it. Oh, shut up. It's almost been 30 minutes. I'm sorry, Morgan. I just wish you'd give me a chance. Just sit down with me. I think you'd find that if you just sat down with me, and now shut up and you can spill it. Tell me whatever you feel. I love you so much.